My name is Tom Horning, and I'm a native of Seaside, Oregon. I was born here in 1954. I live at the mouth of the river in the family home where we were located in 1964 when the Great Alaska Earthquake generated a tsunami that came in and swept away the car, the fences, and several of the neighbors' homes. It had a lasting impact, and as a result, it contributed to me becoming a geologist, and I'm now a consultant dealing with natural hazards and geotechnical issues. And I've been consulting here at the coast for about 25 years. In 2011, when the Japanese Tohoku earthquake struck, we heard about it right away, but it took a little while for the signals to come through to tell us it was a magnitude 9, which was worth worrying about. At first, we thought it was a magnitude 7. And then I spent the night waiting for the thing to come, fielding a lot of phone calls from the media who were rightly alarmed and concerned because the video that was coming through from Japan was truly stupendous, showing tsunamis in full daylight sweeping up river valleys and destroying towns and washing away houses and cars and sweeping boats well inland. And since there are a lot of places in Japan that are just like Seaside in the layout, and in terms of distance from the subduction zone to estuaries with broad floodplains, and evidence of drowned estuary systems from past earthquakes, it was naturally something to be concerned about. And so we did an all-nighter dealing with things. And in the morning, the wave came up the mouth of the river, fighting an ebb tide. So it didn't really do much for the northern Oregon coast, other than raise the tide by about 3 feet over a period of about 5 to 10 minutes. However, there were later surges that came in on the flood tide, and those caused more damage. Unfortunately, I was fast asleep by that time because I had done an all-nighter. Now, a lot of people panicked, and everyone thought that what was being seen in Japan was going to be what we would have in Oregon, although they thought it was for the arrival of that particular wave. It turned out to be much smaller. However, it does give a good idea of what to expect for a wave when we have our next subduction zone earthquake here on the Oregon coast. And fully, we expect the majority of coastal communities to be impacted. And the worst of all, it turns out, is Seaside. In the Cascadia Rising earthquake and tsunami simulation exercise of 5 years ago, they expected 4,500 people to drown on the Oregon coast using the winter population as an indicator. And out of those 4,500, 4,000 of them were going to be in Seaside. It has to do with the fact that Seaside has nothing but estuary, and the town is built throughout it. And there are a lot of bridges that may fall down in the earthquake and prevent the easy access of people to evacuation routes to safety. So one of the things we have to do about this is replace our bridges, 4 out of 11, which have been replaced and are earthquake proof. But there are still some pretty sensitive parts in town that are at extreme risk of wave overtopping and people trying to evacuate not being able to. So that's one of the reasons why I ran for city council, and I've been trying to at least get one bridge fixed. I've learned that asking for all the bridges to be fixed asks for too much, and it's just not in the cards. So we're going at it from another angle. The full expectation is that we'll probably have a wave that could be anywhere from 25 to 50 feet high. And in all those scenarios of smaller waves or larger waves, we have at least 85% of the town being flooded and likely destroyed. So starting at 80% to 90%, and then it tails off at 95%. The town's built like a bathtub with one side missing facing the ocean. So there are a few houses up on the ridge above town, but for the most part, everything else is at sea level or 15 feet. So a 25 to 50 foot tsunami has the capacity of flooding the town on average 35 feet deep. There's just no surviving that if you're caught in it. So we keep working at it. We work with the Department of Geology and Mineral Industries for the state of Oregon. They've been very helpful. They've done several phases of wave inundation models, and they've come up with recommendations for how to safely evacuate. Unfortunately, some of it requires running faster than you have ever run in your life. And the only solution to prevent that, especially as you're getting older, is to have good evacuation infrastructure. And that's why bridges need to be fixed, or have vertical evacuation structures such as parking garages. The trouble is that the place where we have one parking garage already is the middle of town. And if you build another parking garage next to it, all you're doing is adding extra space for the people who happen to be near that garage. The people who are farther away still have to deal with hurrying as fast as possible and probably not making it. So we're hoping to be able to reduce the number of people who could be drowned or killed by other means during the tsunami from maybe 50% down to maybe 5 to 10%. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't pay attention and doesn't prepare, and we can only do so much, but getting a lot of it done preemptively is very important, because we're getting very close to that point where the earthquake could hit at any time, and we don't want to be caught flat-footed and have to apologize for not having planned things out and established a course of action. If there's one thing I would hope with our new president, he's talked about infrastructure investment. I would think that our bridges in Seaside could use a little assistance from the outside. After all, a lot of the people that are at risk are second homeowners and vacationers who would be down here when the earthquake strikes. And it would be good for the public to take on some of the burden of bridge replacement. And there ought to be a policy that enables us to have higher priority than the 1,625 other bridges in Oregon that need to be replaced. So there's politicking, and there's engineering, and there's understanding of what the hazard is properly by the community and the planning departments.